Good morning, students. In this chapter we were discussing about immunity, and in immunity we talked about innate immunity, that is inborn immunity, and acquired immunity. So we discussed in detail about innate immunity, and we saw that that is going to provide us non-specific defense mechanism. That simply means that defense mechanism is functioning equally responsible for all the foreign particles that are entering in our body. But the second one means the acquired immunity, that we are going to acquire after coming in contact with different foreign particles. That immunity is going to provide a specific defense mechanism. So today we are going to discuss about specific defense mechanism. We have already talked about first line of defense, that are the external barriers that are functioning to prevent the entry of infectious agents or foreign particles. Then comes our second line of defense, in which cytokines are functioning. The various cellular level of barriers are functioning, like our WBCs are working for it, then our inflammatory reactions are working for it. So these are our second line of defense. This specific defense mechanism, this is making our third line of defense. So our first and second line of defense were non-specific, while our third line of defense is specific. Why I am using the word specific? This specific word means the chemicals that are going to be produced in our immune system against a foreign particle is going to be function against only one single specific foreign particle. If the particle is going to change, then that particular chemical is not effective for the other one also. That's why I am using the word specific. When we are going to discuss this process in detail, then we will come to know that how all these things are functioning. So this is acquired. This means we are going to develop this defense mechanism when our body is going to come in contact with different foreign particles. Now what these foreign particles are doing when they are going to come in our body's immune system will be activated, gets activated. Now our body's immune system is very intelligent. How it is intelligent? It is able to differentiate between self and non-self particle. Self means our body's own particles, our body's own cells, tissues. So our immune system is familiar with our body's self particles, cells, tissues. So it is not going to be activated against our own particles and cells, and it can easily distinguish between the foreign particles that are going to enter inside our body. So it can easily distinguish between self and non-self particles. It is not going to function against self particles. It is only going to be activated against the non-self particles, or we can say these are the foreign particles that are entering in our body. Now when these foreign particles are entering in our body, there are certain chemicals which are being released in our body fluids, like blood is there, lymph is there. These chemicals which are released in our blood or lymph because of the entry of some foreign particles in our body, these chemicals are going to make our immune system, or these are going to function specific, and these are known as antibodies. These chemicals are antibodies. So these antibodies, either these antibodies are going to be secreted because of the complete suppose say एक microorganism or you can say a infectious agent is entering in our body, so the complete infectious agent or microorganism, or we can say a antigen, it can be called a antigen, that is any foreign particle that is entering in our body, or we can also use the word immunogen, again a foreign particle that is responsible for the activation of our immune system. So these are known as immunogen. So either the whole structure is responsible for the production of antibodies, or simply the proteins that are present on their surface, or even sometimes carbohydrates or fats, they are also responsible for the production of antibodies against them. So these antibodies are going to be very much specific. If in place of this foreign particle some other one is going to enter, then the antibody that was produced for this one, that is not going to function for the other one. That's why it is specific. So now let's discuss in detail what an antibody is, what chemically an antibody is, and how its structure looks like. So if I talk about chemical nature of an antibody, it is basically a proteinaceous molecule. Chemically it is protein. And the structure of antibody is giving a Y-like appearance. We are having a alphabet Y, so antibody is giving us a Y-like structure. It is made up of two chains. Heavy chain and light chain. So in the diagram we are going to see two chains. The big size chain, there is a big size chain, two molecules of big size chain is there, we are going to call it as heavy chain. So H2, because two are present, and two short chains that are very short as compared to heavy chains, so we are calling it as light chain. So antibodies are structurally H2 and L2, means two heavy chains are present and two light chains are present. Because these are proteinaceous in nature, that means they are made up of amino acids. So it is having a COO negative end and NH2 end. So two ends are present, they are going to give it as polarity. Other than this, most of the part of antibody is made up of constant region. Constant word is generally used because that part is going to be same for all the antibodies. That's why we are saying constant region. While that will be present on the COO negative end, the NH2 end is going to have the variable region. The region that is going to be changed in all the antibodies, and that is providing specificity to the antibodies. So here constant region will be present, that is almost going to be same, and at this end variable region will be present, and this variable region will be responsible for specificity. We will see how this is responsible for specificity. And these two chains, the heavy and light chains, they are combined, or you can say they are interacting with each other with the help of disulfide bonds. So these disulfide bonds are helping in the stabilization of the structure of antibodies. So let's arrange these things in a simple diagram to understand the structure of antibodies. So this is the structure of antibody. As I told you, two chains are there. One is bigger in size, that is the heavy chain. This chain, the chain that is present over here, is big in size. So this will be the heavy chain. While this one is small, that is present external to this heavy chain. This one is the light chain. So one heavy chain and one light chain is present over here, and the second heavy chain and second light chain is present over here. So it is H2 L2, two heavy chains and two light chains. Now both the heavy chain as well as the light chain are having constant regions, which I have shaded with red color. So these much parts are always constant for all the antibodies. This side, this part is the constant region of heavy chain, and this is the constant region for light chain. Light chain. Exactly same thing is present over here. Constant region of heavy chain and constant region of light chain. Now I told you these structures are being stabilized by disulfide bonds. So these are the disulfide bonds that are present. This is the C end, COOH end, and this is the NH2 end. So I am writing N for the NH2 end and C for the COOH end. Now the unshaded parts that are present over here, these are the variable regions. Means they are always going to be different from each other when we are going to talk about different type of antibodies. For each immunogen or for each antigen, the variable region is always going to be different. So this is the variable region of light chain. Light chain, and this is the variable region of, I am mentioning it here, of heavy chain. Now the main role in immunity is simply the antigen is going to bind with the antibody, and how this binding is take place, this binding is almost equivalent to, we can say we are having a lock and we are going to put a specific key for this particular lock. Exactly same thing is there. This is a antibody, we can compare it with a lock, and this site that is present at the N terminal, this is the antigen binding site in which only a particular antigen is going to fit and bind with this antibody. So this is the antigen binding site. Over here also this is the antigen binding site. So this is the most crucial site that is going to interact with the antigen, and only a specific antigen is going to bind over here. And the process, or you can say immune system, is going to function when a antigen is going to bind with the antibody, and this antibody will be responsible for the killing of the antigen that has binded on its surface. So this is all about the structure of the antibody. So different type of antibodies are present in our body, like IgM, immunoglobulin M is there, IgE is there, IgA is there, IgD is also there. So different type of antibodies are present in our body. Now the main cells that are going to take part in our immune system are lymphocytes. These lymphocytes, initially at embryonic level, these lymphocytes are going to be produced in our liver at embryonic stage, and later on this function will be took over by bone marrow. So bone marrow is going to produce lymphocytes, and these lymphocytes, after getting produced in bone marrow, either they are going to be matured in bone marrow or they are going to move to thymus that is again a endocrine gland, and this thymus is responsible for maturation of some of the lymphocytes. So if the lymphocytes, they are produced in bone marrow and they are going to be mature in bone marrow, they are going to call, or we are going to call them B lymphocytes. They are produced in bone marrow and they are getting matured in bone marrow. The lymphocytes that are produced by bone marrow, but later on they are going to move to thymus and maturation takes place inside the thymus, those are known as T lymphocytes. So our immune system is having both B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes, which are going to function differently and they are providing us to different immune systems. The immune system, the specific immune system that is provided by this B lymphocytes is known as humoral immune system, or you can say antibody mediated immune system, because that is responsible for the production of antibodies. The immune system that is produced by this T lymphocytes is known as cell mediated immune system. So let's discuss over here why we are giving these names to them. See, humoral immune system is, the name is given because these cells, or you can say these lymphocytes, they are going to circulate in blood. So they are going to function in our body fluids. Lymph is there, blood is there. That's why the name is given humoral, or antibody mediated, because they are responsible for the production of antibodies. This is, so it is responsible for the killing of all the extracellular antigens that are going to be present in our body fluids. Cell mediated, name is given cell mediated because it is going to function at cellular level. So all the antigens that are going to be present intracellular and sometimes extracellular also. So mostly responsible for the killing of intracellular antigens. So it is functioning at cell level, that's why the name is given cell mediated immune system. It is functioning in our body fluids, like blood is there, so the name is humoral immune system. So we are going to talk about how this humoral immune system is functioning and how the T lymphocytes or cell mediated immune system is functioning. So let's talk about the humoral immune system. Say B lymphocytes are present, or we can simply say B cells are present, and these B cells, they are present in lymph or they are present in blood, they are present in inactivated form. So these B cells are having on their surface antibodies. So I am just drawing a inactivated B cell that is having antibodies on its surface. This is a B cell. Now when this B cell is going to be activated, this B cell is going to be activated when a antigen is going to, or you can say a immunogen is going to enter. Antigen is going to enter and this is going to interact with the antibodies that are present on the surface of B cells. Now because of the interaction, we can see an interaction is taking place between antibody and antigen. Because of this interaction, there is activation of B cells takes place. So it is going to be changed into activated B cell. What this activated B cell is going to do, it is going to differentiate between two different type of cells called plasma cells and memory cells. Plasma cells, we know these are the factories for the production of antibodies. So these plasma cells are going to produce numerous antibodies for that particular antigen. So these are the antibodies that are produced by plasma cells, and these antibodies, they are going to fight against, or they are going to interact with these antigens, and they are responsible for the killing of these antigens. What happens with these memory cells? These memory cells are going to remain silent, and they will circulate in the blood for long period of time. Even after the infection, treatment of infection also, they remain inside the body, and whenever our body is again going to come in contact with the same antigen, these memory cells are again going to activate the B cells. The B cells are going to produce the plasma cells, and very fast second time the antibodies will be produced that will be responsible for the killing of these antigens. So two type of cells are going to be produced, the plasma cells which are responsible for the production of antibodies. These antibodies are directly involved in the killing of antigen, while memory cells will carry the information of this particular antigen, so that second time the immune system will be functioning more fast as compared to the first time. So first time when our body is going to interact with the antigen, that will be the primary response, and this primary response is slow because our immune system is taking time for activation. And when second time the same antigen is going to enter in our body, at that time our immune system is going to function very fast, and that is the secondary response. So remember, primary response is whenever first time we are coming in contact with an antigen, that is slow, and secondary response is when second time our body is coming in contact with the same antigen, and at this time the action, or you can say the reaction against the antigen is very fast, because immune system is going to function very fast. So this is how the humoral immune system is functioning. These cells, they are going to be present in our blood and lymph. Now let's see how the cell mediated immune system is going to act. This cell mediated immune system is going to function for mostly viral infections, or you can say viral infected cells, the cells which are developed cancer, or you can say tumor, so are self body cells, but they have developed tumor or cancer. So those cells will be acted upon by the cell mediated. Some bacterial infections also, they are acted upon by the cell mediated immune system. Now this cell mediated immune system is comprising of T lymphocytes. These T lymphocytes, they are not able to recognize a foreign particle, so they need a help, and the help is done by specialized cells, and these specialized cells are known as APC, that simply means antigen presenting cells. What these antigen presenting cells are doing? These antigen presenting cells, they are going to engulf the antigen, they are going to break down the antigen into smaller parts, and they will represent a part of antigen on their surface, that is antigen presentation. So a specific part, not the complete antigen, but only a specific part of the antigen will be represented on their surface by the antigen presenting cells, and the part that is represented by these antigen presenting cells will be recognized by the T lymphocytes. So antigen as a antigen presenting cell. See, example is macrophages. We have already talked about macrophages. These are having the phagocytic activity. So what these macrophages are doing? These macrophages, these are big size cells. So they are going to engulf us. This is an antigen. They are going to engulf this antigen, phagocytize this antigen. They will break down this antigen into simpler parts. And they are having certain complexes on their surface, and with these complexes they are going to represent a specific part. Say this is one part of the antigen. So they are going to represent part of the antigen on their surface, and this part that is represented by the macrophages on their surface, that will be recognized by the T lymphocytes. And after recognition, activation of T lymphocytes take place. So the activated T lymphocytes, there are different type of T lymphocytes against that are going to function, like killer T cells are there. So here no antibody production is taking place. What these killer T cells are doing? These killer T cells are responsible for the breakdown and degradation of this antigen. They are also known as quenchers because they are going to remove the viral infected cells and the cancer cells from our body. So these are known as killer T cells. Why? Because they are directly interacting with the antigens and they are responsible for the killing of the antigens. The second type of T cells that are functioning are helper T cells. These helper T cells, they are associated with the humoral mediated immune system. That means cell mediated immune system is also helping in the production of antibodies. So these helper T cells are responsible for the production of cytokines, and these cytokines are going to activate the B cells for production of antibodies. So the helper T cells are making the B cells to produce more antibodies that are going to function at the, you can say, fluid level. Third type of T cells are suppressor T cells. Whenever an infection is going to be, you can say, less, after the action of both humoral and cell mediated immune system, an infection has already decreased, then these suppressor T cells are responsible to suppress the activity of both humoral and cell mediated immune system. And many of the times they are also responsible to suppress their activity so that they are not going to affect the self particles of our body. So they are also acting as providing us a protective role from autoimmune diseases. We will talk about different autoimmune diseases also. So it is going to suppress the functioning of B and T cells when an infection is almost treated, and to also not to allow them to attack the self cells. And the last type are again the memory T cells. And these memory T cells will again have the information. So whenever a second time a antigen is coming, the activation of the immune system will be more fast as compared to the first response. So this is how our humoral and cell mediated immune system is providing specific defense mechanism. So that's all for today. Next time we are going to discuss about the next topics of this chapter.